Annalisa Rockbridge Insha. Hi, I'm Annalisa Rockbridge. I'll be guiding you through our yoga sequence this afternoon, or yes, this afternoon still. So let's prepare. Let's roll out our mats. We're going to need a block for this series. So if you have a block, go ahead and grab that. Place it on either your lowest or medium height setting. Place that in between the ankles and sit back onto that block so that the sit bones and sacrum are on that block. As we begin to prepare for our practice, let's settle in with 3 cleansing breaths together and connect to our breath. As you inhale, sit and allow the tops of the hands to come onto the tops of the thighs, palms facing down or up, however you would like to start your practice. But as you sit down, root down through all sit bones, sit up a little bit taller, and then inhale through both of your nostrils. Open mouth side, exhale, let the air go. Allow the shoulder heads to drop away from the ears. And let's do that again. But let's inhale and draw the shoulder heads up towards the ears. Pause at the top. Open mouth side, exhale, roll the shoulder heads back and then down the shoulder. Again, inhale, fill up the nostrils, fill up the lungs. Feel how the lower belly comes in towards the back. Spread across the collarbones and pause. Sip in just a little bit more air. And then now open mouth side, exhale, let it go. And let's just do that one more time. Inhale through both of the nostrils. Feel the lower belly come in towards the spine. Chest starts to lift up, spread across the collarbones, pause at the top. Sip in just a little bit more air. Now open mouth side, exhale, let that air go. Very nice. As we continue to sit here on the block, as you inhale, begin to draw the arms forward and above. But as you begin to draw the hands forward, allow the palms to start to come up and then draw the pinkies up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, allow the hands to come forward and down towards your knees. And again, as you inhale, draw the pinkies up towards the sky. If you start to feel your chest puff up, draw the frontal rib points down to meet the frontal hip points. And then allow the hands to come back down towards the mat. And again, inhale, drawing the pinkies up towards the sky, externally rotating all the way through the shoulder heads. Drawing the frontal rib points down towards the hip points. Picking the back of the ribs up off of the waist to get length through the sides of the body. And then exhale, hands come down towards the mat. One more time, linking the breath to movement. Coming off the block and coming onto our backs. As you lay down on your back, draw your right knee into your chest, interlacing your hands either around your shin or behind your right knee. But gathering that knee in towards your chest and drawing it up towards your right underarm, pick up your head and look over at your left foot. Internally draw that left thigh in towards the mat so your toes begin to stick straight up towards the sky. As you guide your head back down towards the mat, the shoulder blades, the back of the head is down the mat, and the chin is still slightly in towards the chest, just so it's not jetting up towards the sky. Continue to breathe here. As you inhale, push through the heel and try to get the length to come out to the top of the crown of the head. Exhale, let go of the right knee and draw the left knee into the chest. Without this time picking your head up from the mat, internally rotate that right thigh towards the mat so that your toes begin to come straight up and towards the sky. Getting length through the sides of the waist as you inhale. Push out through the heel and try to grow taller to the top of the crown of the head. One more breath. Both of the knees come into the chest. Hands come out to a T where the palms are facing down on the mat, or palms face up and cactus the hands. And then drop the knees over to the right. Right hand can come onto the left knee, but the left shoulder and the gaze turns over towards the left hand. Enjoying this beautiful detoxing twist, the beginning of our practice. Breathe through the sides of the body. And when you're ready, draw both of the knees into the chest. Hands are out in a cactus or on a T. Exhale, dropping both of the knees over to the left. Left hand comes onto the right thigh if you like. Right shoulder, head, and gaze turns over towards the right hand. Breathing nice into the sides of the body, bringing out the internal organs of our body as we twist. Drawing both of the knees back into our chest. Maybe we're rocking and rolling to give ourselves just a little bit of a lumbar spike. But when you're ready, both of the hands come down towards the mat and both of the feet come straight up into the sky. As you inhale, drop the right heel down 1 inch up top of the mat. Exhale, lift the right foot back up into the sky. Inhale, left foot extends all the way out, hovering 1 inch above the mat. As you exhale, draw the left foot back up to the right. Inhale, lengthens. See if you can drop the heel to just hover 1 inch above the mat. And how slowly and gracefully can you rise back up on an exhale. Continuing to link your breath to movement. Inhale, lengthens. Exhale, draws and heel back up into the sky. A couple more, just walking out. Our Urdhva Prasarita Padottanasana. But as you look up at the feet in the sky, make sure that we're continuing to draw the right thigh in towards the midline. And then as you draw the left heel down, the left thigh continues to draw in towards the midline. Both of the knees are going to come into the chest, and we're going to rock and roll up. Come over and roll onto our hands and the knees. Sink our hips back into our first child's pose. Feet can either be together, sinking the hips back onto the heels, or take the knees and spread them about as wide as the width of your mat. Sink your chest and your body down in between your thighs. For the hairline of your forehead, come down towards the mat and extend the arms out in front of you so that the shoulders are up off of the mat. And this is an extended child's pose, an active child's pose. But in this child's pose, as we continue to link to our breath for our movement, imagine my hands again on the sides of your waist, side ribs. Inhale, fill up my hands. So breathe deep so that you can feel the hands on the sides of your waist. Exhale, let that breath go. Again, continue to inhale one more time. And when you're ready, pick your forehead up, look up at your hands, shift the weight onto the knees, tuck the toes, and then lift your hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. So let's take a peek back at our feet, making sure that you can maybe a hip distance apart. The heels are displayed out, tucking behind the second toe. We can put a generous bend in the knees so that the hips come up higher into the sky, but we do want to make sure we're pushing down evenly into our hands, pushing down evenly into all 10 fingers. The upper outer arms are squeezing in towards the midline. We can gather length through the sides by keeping that generous bend in the knees. Feeling tight in the shoulders today, go ahead and turn the hands out and then sink the hips up and back again. Some people like to pedal out their dog. Do any morning, afternoon rituals you like to do? But in your down dog, see if you can just bend both of the knees really deep. So come up high onto both of the tippy toes. Deep, generous bend in both of the knees. Look up at your hands. Right foot steps up to the right hand. Stay onto the back of the left toes. Anchor down onto your left hand. Then rise the right hand up so you come into this open twist, this low lunge open twist. Lean your forehead back away from, so draw it away from your pubic bone. The right hand comes up and then sweeps over the top of your head. The hand that is down on the ground, your left hand, without moving it in space, externally rotate that hand so you can continue to open up. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat, framing the right foot. Pick up the right foot and then step it back. Pull your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Walking your hands back to meet your feet. Maybe put a generous bend in the knees so that the top of the chest comes onto the top of the thighs. Interlace the hands behind you and then begin to straighten out the legs any amount. Maybe lift the hands up off of the lower waist. Uttanasana, forward fold. Lowering the hands down onto the back and changing the interlacing, so just one pinky over and then lift the hips, hands up off of the hips, and then again start to straighten out the legs any amount, stacking the hips above the heels. The crown of the head, continue to draw down towards the mat. When you're ready, your hands come up halfway with a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back over the legs and walk it back out to your downward facing dog. Deep, generous bend in the knees. Look up at the hands. This time your left foot steps up to your left hand. Drawing that left heel back into the midline, right hand stays anchored down onto the mat, left hand comes up into the sky. So you're in this twist. Instead of collapsing in, open up. So take your chest and open up across the bit. Collarbones. Again, on your hand that's on the mat, externally rotate that hand all the way through the shoulder and then look up at your left hand. One more breath here. As you exhale, frame that left foot, pick the left foot up and step it back, downward facing dog. Take 1 to 2 breaths here on your own. When you're ready, walk your hands back to meet your feet. Hands come up halfway with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Lengthen out by drawing the shoulder heads away from the ears and keeping the gaze straight down on the mat. Shifting the weight into the toes. As you exhale, hands come onto the hips and then micro bend in the knees to stand straight up into the sky. Hi everybody. Very good. So let's continue to flow into our practice. If you're working on your Ujjayi breathing, this is where you're going to seal the lips and only breathe through the nose for the rest of the practice. As you inhale, draw both of the hands out to the side and do a T. Hands come up above your head, palms face each other, palms touch, and then look up at your thumbs. Grow tall to the sides of the body by picking the back of the ribs up off of the waist. As you exhale, put a generous bend in the knees so that your hands come down towards the feet. Shifting the weight into your toes, coming up halfway with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, right foot steps back, right knee comes down towards the mat, untuck the right toes. Hands flow up onto the left knee or up and above your head. Drawing the tailbone down towards the mat, lifting the frontal hip points up. Don't allow the frontal rib points to puff out, but keep drawing them down towards the hip points. Pick the back of the ribs up off the waist to get some length to the sides of the body. Maybe we look up at our hands. Maybe we look up at our thumbs. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Pick up the right knee. Step the left foot back. Both knees meet the mat. Lower down halfway for Chaturanga. Lower down all the way. Untuck the toes. Pick the knees up off of the mat. Slide the hands back to meet the chest. Elbows come back towards the midline. Lift the head and the chest up. Bhunjanasana, baby cobra. As you exhale, push up and pass through tabletop. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take one breath here and then look up at your hands. The right foot is going to step up to the right hand. Left knee comes down towards the mat. Floating the hands up onto the right knee or up and above your head. But try to straighten out that left thigh parallel with the wall behind you. Continuing to draw the tailbone down, picking the back of the ribs up off of the waist to gain length to the sides of the body. Maybe we look up at our thumbs as the palms touch. Hands come down towards the mat, lift up the left foot and step it forward to meet the right. Hands come up halfway with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Fold back over the feet, shifting the weight into the toes. Bend in the knees to stand all the way up. Palms touch and we look up at our thumbs. Exhale, hands come into the chest, Samasthiti. Let's do the left side. As you inhale, hands float out to the side and up above your head. Palms touch, look up at the thumbs. Grow tall to the sides of the body, hinge up and over your thighs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Shift the weight into the toes and come up with a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Draw the belly into the stomach. Exhale, hands come onto the feet. Left foot steps back, left knee comes down towards the mat. Untuck the left toes, hands float up above your head or onto your knee. Maybe you look up at your thumbs. Hands come down towards the mat. Pick up the left knee, step the right foot back. This time, we're lowering down to Chaturanga. As you inhale, push up into your back bend. So baby cobra or upward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. As you exhale, hips come up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Look up at your hands. The left foot is going to step up to the left hand. The right knee comes down towards the mat. Untuck the right toes and lift the body up towards the sky. Hands can come onto the left knee or floating up above your head. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat and straighten out that right thigh. Pick the sternum and the chest up into the sky. Maybe we're looking up at our hands. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Pick the right foot up and step it up to meet the left, coming up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back over the legs, shifting the weight into the toes. Coming up all the way, rising up into the sky. Palms meet, looking up at thumbs. Draw the tailbone down towards the heels. Hands come into the chest, Samasthiti. You guys are doing great. As our body begins to warm up, let's continue to link our breath to our movement. And again, as you inhale, rise your arms forward and above. Pinkies are rising up into the sky. Folding over the legs, hinging at the hips, Uttanasana. Shifting the weight into the toes, coming up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling back onto the mat. Right foot steps back, right knee comes down towards the mat. Hands flow up and above your head, palms touch, maybe we look up at the thumbs. As you exhale, pick up the right knee, step the left foot back, move it through your vinyasa or meet us into a downward facing dog. Look up at your hands and step the right hand up to the foot up to the right hand. Allow the left knee to meet the mat, untuck the toes, and float the hands up and above. Exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Left foot steps up to meet the right, coming up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Lengthen out to the sides of the body. Exhale, folding back over the legs. Inhale, drawing both of the hands up and above your head, looking up at the thumbs. Hands come into the chest, Samasthiti. Last time together. As we inhale, draw the arms forward and above. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, left foot steps back, left knee meets the mat, floating up into our low lunge. Exhale, passing through a vinyasa or pulling it straight back into your downward facing dog. Looking up at the hands and the left foot steps forward to meet the left hand. Right knee meets the mat. Pulling it back into our low lunge. As you exhale, moving it through your vinyasa or meeting us into your downward facing dog. Very nice, everybody. Take 3 breaths here in your downward facing dog and try to, as your body's nice and warm, try to get your exhales to meet your inhales. So as you inhale through both of your nostrils for 1, 2, 3, exhale for 1, 2, 3. You guys are doing great. Push down through all 10 fingers. Nice, generous bend in the knees. Look up at your hands. If you want to hop up, just look past your mat and step both feet lightly up to your hands. Come up halfway with the long spine by drawing the shoulder heads away from the ears, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back over the legs, Uttanasana. You're doing wonderful. As you inhale, rise all the way up into the sky, palms touch, and we look up at our thumbs. Exhale, hands come into the chest, Samastitihi. You guys did such a beautiful job. I'm very proud of you. We have just a little bit more with our standing poses, so we're going to come into our Parsvakonasana in 2 different ways. So let's take up this nice, beautiful real estate that you have, your yoga mat, and take about 4 feet underneath you. But from deep within your right hip socket, you're going to externally rotate that thigh, knee, shin, and foot out to the right. You're coming onto the left toes, squaring off your hips by drawing that right hip back and that left hip forward. So if you want to go ahead and put both of your hands onto your hips, you can just naturally just move that so that your stomach and your chest are straight square in front of you. As you inhale, the right forearm is going to come onto the right thigh. If you feel more stable and you want to anchor that left heel back at a 45-degree angle so that you're not on a tight rope, but make sure that your right knee is stacked directly above your right ankle. Draw that right hip in towards the midline and then open up into this Parsvakonasana. So there should be a leaning back sensation here. As you lean back and you're looking up at your left hand, draw that left hand to come up towards your left ear. There should be a long line of energy coming straight down from that left heel all the way up to your fingers. Continuing to draw that left hip in towards the midline. 1 more breath, don't hold it. If you have a block nearby, you're a fan of the block as I am for Trikonasana, begin to straighten out your right foot. Hop in that left hand can come onto the left hip. Hop that left foot in ever so slightly to shorten your stance if you need to, but make sure that you're pushing down into your right big toe. If you are a yoga kalak and you like to take your peace fingers and interlace your peace fingers around your big toe, we're trying to still find length through the sides of the body. We just don't want to be collapsing in. So lengthen through the sides of the body, draw that right hip in, and then open up through the sides. That forehead moves away from this pubic bone. So you have a leaning back sensation. And again, you're pulling up on that big toe as the big toe pushes down into the mat. 1 more breath, continue to breathe into this Trikonasana triangle pose. You guys are doing great. Looking down at your pinky toe and look up 6 inches above it. Place your hand, the tips of your fingers, up 6 inches and hop up off of your left foot. Externally rotating the standing foot that you're standing on. Micro bend in that standing leg is fine, but you just don't want that right hip jutting out. So draw that right hip into the left, so it's in towards the midline. And if you can, you should be able to look down towards your body and see your left toes. 1 more breath here, so take a nice deep breath and lengthen out into this half moon. But how gracefully can we step back into our triangle pose? Trikonasana. You guys are doing great. Both hands come down towards the mat. Let's frame out our top foot. Pick the right foot up and step it back to the left. Move it through your Vinyasa or meet us into a downward facing dog. If you're pushing through your up dog, push down into your pointer finger and your thumb to protect your wrists. Taking 1 to 2 breaths here in this down dog. Continuing to lengthen out. Let's work on the left side. Look up at your hands. Step the left foot up to the left hand. As you rise up into this Anjaneyasana, put the hands onto the hips. If you're feeling you're having a little bit of stability, anchor that right foot and that right heel down at a 45 and walk the left foot over ever so slightly. But continue to stack the right knee onto that left thigh. Hands are on the hips, so draw that left hip back and push that right hip forward. Belly and chest are moving forward towards the wall, chest, or window before, wall, window, or door in front of you. Hands flow forward and above. And then the left hand comes on towards the left thigh. Right hand comes up towards the sky. Draw that right hip in towards the midline and lean back away from your forehead, from the pubic bone. If you're looking for a deeper stretch, you can more than welcome to place that right hand in towards the right foot. This is a beautiful place to be. Extend that right hand above your right ear so that you have that nice long line of energy drawing up from the earth, all the way from your toes and shooting out through your fingers. One more breath, don't hold it. Pick up the torso up off of the front thigh, straighten out the left leg, hop that right foot in ever so slightly. Hands come out to a T, right hips draw back, left hands come forward. Left hand comes onto the shin, right hand comes up into the sky. Again, drawing that left hip in towards the right. There should be a leaning back sensation. So we're not collapsing forward or we're not folding forward, but we're opening up through the sides of the body and we're trying to find length through the sides of our waist. One more inhale. And then look down. Right hand can come onto the hip. Look down 6 inches in front of your pinky toe and then hop up off of your right foot. Picking up into half moon Ardha Chandrasana. But we're trying to stack our heels on top of each other. So draw that left hip in towards the right, so just in towards the midline. Continuing to breathe. How gracefully can you step back into your Trikonasana triangle? Hands come down onto the mat, cartwheeling them down, picking up the left foot, stepping it back, either pulling it straight back into your downward facing dog or moving it through your vinyasa. Continuing to cultivate the heat, continuing to build this heat in our body as you begin to move your body a little bit more. As you inhale, bend both of the knees. Look up at your hands, step up or hop up to your hands. As you lengthen out, come up halfway with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Very good. Exhale, fold back over the legs. As you inhale, draw the energy up into the sky. As you lift both hands up, maybe the palms touch, maybe you look up at your thumbs. Hands come into the chest, Samastitihi. Very good, everybody. So let's continue on with our standing poses and take up some more of that real estate. So taking up about 4 feet, hands come onto the hips, keeping the gaze at me as you lift the sternum straight up into the sky. Fold over your legs so the hands come down towards the mat. Stacking the wrists directly underneath the shoulders. This is a very beautiful place to be. All I want everybody to do at the same time is shift all of their weight into the toes. If you're looking on wanting to work on the tripod triangle, allow your hands to start walking back so that they are in line with your feet. Allow the crown of the head to come down towards the mat, drawing the elbows in, so we're setting up like a Chaturanga arms. Shoulder heads move away from the mat. Maybe we shift the weight all the way into our toes and picking up the heels. Maybe we find that little bit of stability and we're able to pick our feet up. Wherever you are, do not hold your breath. Take a deep exhale and let that breath go. As you inhale, come back down and to the floor. If we lifted up the feet, shifting the weight into the toes, walking the hands back out underneath the shoulders. Maybe heel toeing our feet together ever so slightly. Hands come onto the hips. On an inhale, rise up. Very good, everybody. So let's move on to the tops of our mat, continuing to move our body. As you inhale, rise the hands up, sink the hips back and down. Utkatasana chair pose. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat. Keep the bend in the knees and allow the hands to come down towards the feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Come up halfway with the long spine, pulling the shoulder heads away from the ears, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, step or jump back straight into your Chaturanga. As you inhale, push down into your pointer finger and thumb, shoulder heads open up. Exhale, pull the hips up and back, anchor your left heel back at a 45-degree angle and step that right foot up to the right thumb. Rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Maybe your palms touch at the top. Hands come down towards the mat. Step the right foot back. Move it through your Vinyasa, or just meet us in downward facing dog. Looking up at your hands, left foot steps up to the left thumb. Right heel anchors back at a 45-degree angle. Pull that left hip in towards the midline before rising up into Vira 1. Palms touch. We look up at our thumbs. Hands come down towards the mat. Left foot steps up and back, moving it through our Vinyasa or downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths here. Maybe you're a fan of a cleansing breath. Then you want to go ahead and inhale through both of your nostrils. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Very good. Do it again. Inhale. And then open mouth, sigh, exhale, let it go. Good. So let's look up at our hands. Right foot steps up to the hand, left foot steps up, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Sink the heels, hips back and down towards the heels. Lift the sternum and the chest up. Straighten out the legs as the hands come into the chest, Samastitihi. Good. So let's do a little bit more standing pose. Let's sink the hips back and down into a Utkatasana chair, making sure that the weight is in the heels, but we're not sticking out our buttocks. Draw that tailbone down towards the midline. Draw the pit of the belly button in towards the midline. Lift the sternum up. Keep the gaze at the border, but the arms can lift up next to the ears. Hands come into the chest. Left elbow comes onto the right thigh. We're in this uti, like twisting Utkatasana, twisting chair pose. But wherever you are, look up at your knees, draw that left hip back, and then pull your forehead away from your hands. One more deep breath here. As you exhale, fold over the legs, straighten out the legs, come into Uttanasana. Rise up, lift up into Ardha Uttanasana. Step it back, move it through a Vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog, look up at your hands, step both feet together, look past your mat, and then hop both feet up to the hands. Lengthen out through the 4 sides of the waist, fold back over the legs, rise up into the sky, hands come into the chest. Let's do that again. Sink the hips back and down into the heels. Draw that tailbone down into this tailbone towards the mat. Pit of the stomach comes in towards the midline. Hands flow up and above. Hands come into the chest, right elbow, left thigh. Look down at your knees. Draw that right knee back so that both of the knees are straight in line. Draw your forehead away from both of your praying hands. One deep breath here. Fold over your legs, Uttanasana. Shift the weight into the toes, Ardha Uttanasana. Fold back over, left foot steps back, right foot steps back, moving it through a Vinyasa or meeting us in downward facing dog. When you're ready, shorten up your dog, put a bend in your knees, and then try to step in between your hands, placing your buttocks onto the mat. Hey, we're not done yet, but we're moving into some more our back poses. As you straighten out the legs, straighten out the leg in front of you, draw that right knee back into your chest, just like we started in the beginning. But this time, we want to get this heel to be in line with our hip. So let's walk this right foot over ever so slightly, and then redraw it back so that it's in line. So we're not kind of wobbling, but we have that stability. Sit down through both of your sit bones, and then draw both of the hands up and above. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left hand comes behind you. Right hand and right elbow come onto the right knee. We're doing a Marichasana twist. As you inhale, dorsiflex the toes, your left foot. So your toes are going to come towards your torso, dorso to torso. Inhale, lengthens the sides, the leg. Exhale, deepens the twist. Inhale, lengthens. So sit up tall through the collarbones, spread across the collarbones. And as you exhale, maybe the gaze begins to look back over the left shoulder. Continuing to breathe here. One more breath. As you exhale, unwind. Straighten out both the legs in front of you. The right corner of the mouth lifts up. The left corner of the mouth lifts up. And then you reach over for your left knee and pull it in towards you. Good job. Pushing through that right heel, flexing through those right toes. That left heel is going to come in line with that left hip. As you inhale, sit down into both sit bones and draw both of the hands up above you. As you exhale, right hand comes behind you, left elbow comes onto the left knee. Marichasana on the left side. Inhale to lengthen through the sides of the waist. Exhale will deepen the twist. Maybe your gaze begins to look over the right shoulder. Wherever you are, just breathe. If your mind begins to wander, just recognize it's gone away from the breath and move it back to the breath. As you inhale, both hands float up and above, straighten out the left leg to meet the right, and then draw the right heel in towards your midline. The right foot is going to push against the left inner thigh. Again, internally rotating through that left thigh, so that left thigh is turning in so that the toes point straight up. As you inhale, both of the arms come up. Pick the back of the ribs up off of the waist so you go tall through the sides. Turn your body ever so slightly so that your chest and your belly are facing your thigh. And then hinge from the hips, fold over your leg, Janu Sirsasana. Feel how the body's starting to cool down. As you inhale, come up halfway and lengthen out to the sides. Exhale, let go of wherever you're holding on to, straighten out your legs. Inhale, both hands float up and above, grow tall through the sides. Draw the left foot in towards the midline. Left foot meets right thigh. Push it down through all sits bones, rising up through the sky, turning the body and the torso ever so slightly towards the right thigh. And then exhale, hinging from the hips and folding over the right thigh. As your body has started to cool down into these forward fold seated positions, just keep working on the breath. Take nice deep breath in through both of the nostrils. And then exhale, meet the length of your inhale. If your mind begins to wander and start thinking about a plan or a sensation in the leg, honor that thought and sensation, but come back to the breath and inhale through both of nostrils. Open mouth side, exhale, let it go. Coming up halfway with a long spine, exhale, let go of whatever you're holding on to. Drawing both of the heels in towards the midline, Both of the feet are going to touch each other, and then you're going to open up your feet. I'm drawing the elbows in towards the midline, towards your waist. Sit up tall, spread across the collarbones, lift up through the sternum, and then as you exhale, fold over your legs, Baddha Konasana. We have just a couple more moments here with ourselves and to ourselves. Take advantage of what we have left. Continuing to breathe. Even though our poses have slowed down, maybe your breath should slow down, so their inhale should be longer and the exhale should be matching those inhales. With an inhale, come up halfway, straighten out the spine, and then exhale, allow both of the legs to straighten out in front of you. One last time together. As we inhale, rise the arms up and above our heads. Pinkies are floating up and forward. And then hinging from the hips, folding over the legs, Paschimottanasana, holding onto wherever you like, the mat, the shins, the feet. Letting go of the feet, coming up halfway, and then exhale, lower yourself all the way down towards your back, setting up for a final resting pose, Shavasana, being needed. If you have any props that you would like to use, if you have a bolster and you like to place that underneath your knees, as you know, I have a torn meniscus and a cyst. So that feels really good for me when I relax. Maybe you want a little pillow for your head. Either way, wherever you are, just sink into this nice final resting pose. This is the save button. This is where you start to feel all the benefits of the yoga practice. You start to reap all the benefits of all those poses that we did. As you inhale, fill up the lungs. Feel how the belly starts to draw in towards the spine. Open mouth side, exhale, just let it go. And let's do that again. Let's inhale through both of our nostrils. Open mouth side, exhale, let that breath go. Feel how the head is supported by Mother Earth through your mat. Feel how when you breathe, the back of the ribs expand towards your mat. Feeling the small space in your lumbar back from the area on the mat. With each breath, feel how the belly drops in towards the midline. The pelvis gets a little bit heavier as you exhale. Breathing into any sensations you may have into the leg. And then exhaling, allowing your feet to naturally display open externally. As you inhale, continue to breathe deep. Remembering any time that your mind begins to a memory or a plan, honor that thought, that memory and plan, but recognize it has moved away from the breath. The hardest part of the entire yoga practice was showing up to your mat. As you begin to sink a little bit deeper into your mat, This is also the hardest pose of all the poses. Stillness and quietness. Inhale deep through both of your nostrils. Feel the chest rise up. And then let go of that breath. Continuing to sink deeper into the mat. Try just wiggling only the big toe. Don't let the other toes move, but lay here and just try wiggling only your big toe. Keeping the eyes closed, take a deep breath in. Feel how the belly lowers in towards the midline. Feel how the chest rises. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let it go. Blink open your eyes and take a deep breath in through both of your nostrils. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let it go. Rolling over to your favorite side, continuing to connect to your breath. So each inhale, just because we've opened our eyes doesn't mean that we have to stop seeing or stop thinking. As you inhale, keep breathing deep. Push down into Mother Earth and rise up to greet Father Sky. Sitting here and meeting back in the cross-legged position that we started in. Hands can come either onto the knees, facing down to send the love out into this world, or palms can be facing up to receive the love surrounding us in this world. Lowering your chin into your chest, just recognizing the work that you have done today here on your mat. Showing up was the hardest pose. Laying down and breathing was the best pose. The highest light in me and sees and honors the highest light in all of you.